Hello, my name is Sergio Marrero, and this video is on how to prepare for consulting. I am going to assume that you have decided consulting is for me. I would like to jump in. It is where I want to be. What should my next steps um, entail, and how do I make my way into consulting? So that's what this video is going to cover. In general, I'll walk through my process and key questions I think that you should keep in mind. So the guiding question I would say is what consulting firm and why? Many candidates may know why consulting, but not why specifically a consulting firm, and this will make you stand out among the other candidates if you use this as your guide. So one area where they may be different is how they're structured. So what one question may be, what service areas do they focus on, or what do they call their service areas? And once you know that, you may it will help you know where in the firm you fit. Also, they may have a particular specialty. They may focus on strategy more than technology, or human capital more than strategy. And if you know specifically what work you would like to do, this makes a difference in the firm that you'll focus on. Another area I would say that is one of the most important is, if not the most important, is culture. Is it competitive, or is it collaborative? And that does make a difference in among the peer group, but also as you get higher up in the firm, what is that culture that they have within one another. Also, how do they measure success? I don't think many people focus on this, but it does make a difference. How are you measured? How do they determine that you are a successful consultant? So usually every project you get project ratings, and that is considered. Some firms use utilization, and utilization is the number of client hours that you build over the total possible. And so that's another way to measure. You may have 360 feedback, or maybe they expect you to lead your leadership in other activities. So those are all things to keep in mind as you move forward. Now I will jump into the process, or the process that I used. First, I researched. So how did I research? The most important thing I did was first I went to the websites of the different firms. I went to a third-party website, Vault.com, and after I answered some of the questions above, I spoke to other consultants, and this is really what gave me insight into the different firms, and it gave me an understanding of what each firm was about. Those consultants represent the firm, whether they will say so or not, and they'll give you an idea of whether that firm is a fit for you. There we go. And then also the terminology. Consultants usually, and I'm probably doing it during this video as well, but they'll say certain things that may not be common language or may be common to the consulting industry. Write those things down. Find someone you can ask in confidence or send an email, and just ask them questions every now and then. Hey, what does this mean? I don't understand. I've heard this word 5 times, and I'm not. I really would like to know the terminology. Understanding the terminology will make a difference. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And then I would say practice is the other area. Practice 2 things. One is a pitch. I would create a 30 to 90 second pitch. Yes, that's a big, that's a big gap, 30 and 90 seconds. But I would say be able to create a long pitch answering all these questions. So giving an introduction to yourself with your educational background, including your major, your profession, your previous experience. Another area I would think about is why consulting, why me, why now? And even if you don't include that in your pitch, you will be asked that at some point. Why this firm? And where in the firm? So if you know the different industries, service areas, specialties, and you can relate that to your previous experience, you are on the right track. And you want to develop a pitch, and don't make sure you're not too rehearsed, that you're just using that information in your head to be comfortable so that you're confident. Another area that it's important to practice is the case study. So what is a case? If you have not heard of it before, it's used in the interview process, by the way. And what they do is the interviewee will give you a business scenario and will ask simply what do you do at its simplest form. That's what it is. It's a business scenario, and they're asking what would you do. So in order to prepare, the first thing I would do is pick up a book called Case in Point, and this is by Mark Constantino, and I would read the introduction to the book, and not the cases. So that's very important. The cases in the back, they'll have examples of different cases. Find a partner. It does not have to be a consultant. It may be a person that is going through the same process as you, or it may be just a friend that is available to go through case questions with you, and they will ask you the case questions. Do not give them the book and go, hey, give them the book to pull the case questions from. So you go back in and review your answers, which is the last step. But you should go in cold. And what does that mean? You should not review the case before they're asking you the case. You should have not read any of it previously. And then you just want to practice that until you're confident, until you're comfortable, and that will help you through the process. So once you research and practice, the last area I would say is network. Network, and there are many areas where you'll be able to network. Besides your personal contacts and friends, I would go to career services for your from your undergraduate institution. Ask if they have any alumni that work at the firm that are willing to speak with you, and use them as a connection. Go to the company website. Maybe there's someone you can talk to. Maybe there is a professional organization that you are a part of, that someone through that organization knows someone that works at the firm, and you can become connected. So those are all examples. Another one is conferences. And those are all examples of well, besides the company website, of attempting to connect in person. I think there's definitely value in connecting in person. If all else fails, there's, or not if all else fails, but another avenue is LinkedIn. You can, Google different people, just attempting to reach out and tell them, I'm interested in consulting, this firm, this position, and why, and that will give you a heads up. The reason I say do networking last is because you want to be prepared. You may be networking extensively, waiting for an opportunity, then get an opportunity, and then you're not prepared. That'll just, then all your work was wasted. So I would say these are the key questions that I had in mind as I went through the process. I researched and practiced, and the last part was networking in order to help me land a job, an opportunity to interview in consulting.